Hello, my name is Francis Fox, and I am a trained remote viewer, also specializing in interspecies communication. All my psychic skills have been investigated, trained, honed, etc. Plus, I watch myself. I don't want to do anything I'm not really good at and do it publicly. I mean, if I'm enjoying it and having fun at home, so I still watch myself to make sure that I'm accurate. And if there's a place where I've said something that appears it's not accurate, remember we're talking about psychic information. I go back and figure out where I went wrong. And sometimes I find that I wasn't wrong. And the few times I find that I was, it was my interpretation. It wasn't the information. It was when I continued to talk. Got to remember that. So I don't have a lot to say today. It's been an upsetting day. I found out that a friend of mine passed away. And we are definitely in end times. We're in difficult times. And I think very soon people are actually going to be able to hear me only because they're so desperate. One of my followers sent me an email and said she was very happy that she had been listening to me because I don't know if it was today or yesterday. She woke up and she basically wanted to kill everybody, literally kill everybody. Remember when we did the mantra, even though I hate everything and everybody? And she explained the reasons, the loss of a pet and a couple of other things, but she said that she understood that it was not that. The volume of what she was feeling was not normal for her, and she was very grateful. So she went ahead and did the mantra, and she did the music, the cascading cold water to reduce the fire element. As I'm looking at the news today, I see that the people that are in charge are really holding back anger. I don't blame them with the stuff that's coming up. I don't blame them for being very angry. And of course, the people that apparently behave badly are kind of quiet. All of this is going to come out, whether, and it's not a question of decisions, it's an energy, it's a cycle, it's a fact. We're in Revelations and everything's going to come up. It's going to come out. It's not, it hasn't been out because it was covered. But Revelations means to unveil. The word apocalypse means to remove the veil. And that's what's happening. Um, our reactions are so extreme today because we're living on a planet that is sick. Planet Earth is very, very sick. It has been known since the beginning of time that health is a balance of the elements. Reality is created on planet Earth working with the elements. I can't give you much more detail than that because I haven't studied that intensely or even superficially. But that's the way reality is created. The elements, it's a thought with an image, which becomes a thought form, and then the elements are used to make it real in the different dimensions. When the elements are out of balance, you cannot create correctly. And you are not going to be the same person. When your elements are balanced, you're not going to be sick. The same as if your pH is correct, which we're not allowed to know enough about pH, your body can't get sick. And if you have a part of you that's sick and you correct the pH balance, that part of you can't be sick anymore. Yeah, that's so simple, isn't it? Oh, that can't be. Yeah, it can be, but we haven't been allowed the simple stuff because the simple stuff doesn't cost money. And people turn health into a business. But we already know that. I'm not going to go on. I have to say that if we don't give RFK an international prize for what he's doing, my God, that man is in Congress saying, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, I saw it today, was saying to somebody who's kind of in charge of health, under your watch for 20 years, you created all these sick people. And I think it's very good that people are being honest, some more honest than others in terms of what they're sharing. RFK is not holding back on anything. He lost several family members to a system that doesn't want the truth to come out. Okay, so I want to, I am going to teach you, and I cannot do it today because I don't have it ready, but I am going to teach you how to look at somebody who's speaking and know whether they're saying the truth or not. Because you can't lie in the other dimensions. You can lie for a minute, but the other dimensions is all about truth. It's what's real. And so even with the spirit guides, which I didn't know 30 years ago, you can have a spirit guide that's so helpful and gives you such accurate information. Well, you know what? Everybody that's in the other dimensions is a great psychic. There's no walls. You see everything. So for a spirit guide, a spirit to give you accurate, incredible information, you can't assume that they're good people. That's information to start out with. It's how you use it. Okay, what your intention is. But the fact that they have incredible information doesn't mean that they're very evolved. I didn't know that. And I had a spirit guide when I first started my process of the memory work and the three psychologists and the specialist in prisoners of war and torture that I got referred to. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't know that. And I had a spirit guide that was constantly changing their clothes. And I thought that was so cute. He was changing his clothes because it wasn't showing what it really was, which, yes, was a spirit, but a spirit that was trying to guide me down the wrong path. So you don't, getting into all of that is fine. I'm just giving you stories to kind of open your lens so that you'll be more receptive. But when I look at somebody, and that's what I'm going to teach you, and you can't learn it today because I don't have the sketches. I have to get the sketches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some screenshots of people talking, and I'm going to screenshot it, and then I'm going to draw with my beautiful colored pencils, and I do have new ones. I'm going to draw the color that's coming out of their mouth. And you're going to go, oh, wow, that's neat. Yeah, but the fact that I drew it and you saw it meant that I kind of am coaxing your mind to deeper dimensions to where you can see that. And I said it. I went, here we go again, 30 years ago, before I got buried by my control that I just let go of. I had to go to a meeting at the city that I lived in because of some rules and regulations that hadn't been passed, not by me, but the building that I was in. And somebody got up that had nothing to do with my case, and they were asking him questions. And he would look like such a nice guy, and his wife looked like such a nice guy, nice lady. And he's talking so self-assured, and out of his mouth was coming black. And I went, oh my God. I said to the person that was next to me, he's lying. I didn't say it out loud to where people could hear me. It was so obvious that he was lying with this black coming out of his mouth. And then I went, wait, let me check. And so other people talked, like the people in charge, and there was no black coming out of their mouth. They were just saying facts having to do with the case. I was like, oh my God. And I said, in the future, there will be no lying. There'll be no lying because people are going to look at you and go, I can tell that you're lying. So I'm going to do several and I'm going to show them. I don't know if I'll have it done by tomorrow or the next day. And I will show you somebody who's lying, what is coming out of their mouth, and somebody who's not lying. I am not going to look at, so I don't want people getting nervous. I'm not going to look at people that are important in the news today. Okay? I'm not here to unveil liars today on important news today. And we all know what I'm talking about. Some stuff that's being said, and we're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to start to train you so that you're going to be able to see if somebody's lying or not. And I think it's very important. So, going back to my follower that thanked me today for sharing all the stuff about the excess fire element, which explained to her how come she could wake up today and want to kill? She's a regular person. And then she understood too much fire, got to reduce my fire. And that's where we have to take the world. Let's start with this country. Everybody's angry. Everybody wants to kill. And so many people have such good reason because we're in Revelations, the apocalypse, all this stuff is coming up, where none of us are well positioned, we're unhappy. So we've got plenty of excuses. That's not the issue. It's the intensity and the volume. So let me go ahead and show you the map for today. This is the map of the United States. These are the pyramids. So remember, I started to draw pyramids several months ago, and I thought, okay, Mayan pyramids coming up, and now across the world, they're finding, oh, there's new pyramids, and the pyramids in Egypt, there's more stuff. So this is coming up. The stuff was always there. What's underneath the pyramids was always there. How come we can see it now? Because we're in Revelations, the veils come up. So this is coming up. So this is looking really good. Texas, nice green spiral. Green is the color of healing. It's the color of earth. It's the color of the heart. This is good. Florida, great, which means relationships, friendships. Elon and Trump. Um, Elon and Trump. Elon is no longer working as intensely with the government. So when Trump goes to the other part of the planet, they go ahead and decide they're going to share a cup of coffee together. And Elon hops on his plane and goes, it's nice, it's sweet, it's great, it's good. We need people. We all need people. We really do. So, what else are we seeing here? Rage at Revelations, and then we got all this spiraling in these different places. Well, obviously, California. I think this is Washington, D.C., New York, and these two areas. I don't know where they are. They're not a big deal, but it makes sense. So, you want to help out? Ice down the United States. Just visualize the map, really small. That's a psychic gift, by the way. Not the visualization that's necessary for you to be able to work in the other dimensions, but the visualizing it small and then doing something to it is a psychic gift. You can make yourself really, really teeny and go inside your organs and start bumping into stuff and going, oh, what is this I'm bumping into in my liver or in my whatever? So you visualize the United States small, and then you put it underneath the cascading water, which I'm going to do. That's going to be the mantra that we're going to do. It's going to have to do with fire, because that's the issue. Because there are bad people, they've been identified, who knows what's going to happen. But if those that are on this side that are trying to bring this to light to do the correction, if they are too angry, maybe there are options that would have been better, but they're softer, but they need to work through that extra fire. And they choose something that maybe it didn't need to be quite that, but is appropriate for the level of rage that they're feeling, which doesn't have to do with the issue. It has to do with the excess fire element. And that's the whole point. Now, in 1999, the Dolphins gave me an extremely large, long article. They would speak and typing. And they said that the United States was going to be a very big issue in the future. That there was going to be a lot of, this is 1999, a lot of violence due to the volume of electronic equipment and the volume of images of hatred and killing that are on those electronic equipment, the computers, the cell phones. Between the two things, the United States, due to the fact that this is a rich country compared to other countries, and having so many radiating devices that are also radiating images of killing and of hate, that this would be the place that would be hit the hardest, having to do with out of control fire element. I'm going to pull up the article and I'm going to start to put small clips on all my social media so that you can get it. Maybe I should have had it for today. I wasn't thinking about that. So we have a particular, in other words, our richness, the fact that we can afford to have all of these electronic gadgets, has put and not understood the consequences. There we go with the whole ethics and technology. We got the technology and then we got a lot of money. So we have a lot of the technology. The technology is rating something that can kill us as a society, as human beings. Da, 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 da. But we don't know that. Some of us know that, but we're not allowed to speak. And if we speak, people look at us and like, what's the matter with you? And then they go, well, that's too simple. Yes, yes. God made it simple. The people that complicate it either don't know what they, like I say, if it took more than 2 or 3 sentences to explain, that person doesn't really understand the bottom line. If you know the bottom line, it doesn't take more than 2 or 3 sentences, and then you explain what it is. But in order for you to be there, you have to be able to go to causal, at which time you got to understand about the other dimensions. But I'm not going to keep going on and on because honestly, today I don't really, I'm off base dealing with a loss of a person that I would have. What's interesting is that I thought he had passed yesterday or today, and it turned out he passed last week. And yesterday, when I found out today, I thought, oh, that's so sweet. He's still coming to see me. Because since last week, his spirit has been around me, smiling, happy. I didn't know he had passed. And that's, again, you guys need to understand. You have your physical body, and then you have your spirit, astral body. You have your astral spirit. So his astral spirit, from, I don't know exactly what day he started to show up, and I haven't seen him for maybe 10 years. No, maybe 5 years. But his spirit started to show up and he was all smiley. And he's still smiley today in the other dimensions. I'm still going to give him a Buddhist ceremony for the dead, just in case. And I'm sure everybody, including me, is doing a lot of crying. But he's not crying in the other dimensions. His spirit is not crying, but it's also not gone. So, you know what, mister? Gotta talk to you later. Okay, let's go ahead and do the mantra. Let's do the even though I hate everybody and everything, I love and accept myself. And start to integrate these music videos, which are on my Francis Fox Reveals Spanish YouTube site. It's under Mantrista Music. We have several of them. And the important ones are 10 hours long because the other dimensions, which is where the frequencies are that are killing us, where the frequencies of the elements are, the other dimensions are sick and they're making us sick. But if you put in another frequency, such as these videos, where the frequencies were chosen very precisely, mainly to reduce the fire elements so that then the elements would be balanced, you're going to find your life very, very different. Somebody told me the other day that she has several kids and they're now all sleeping in the living room with one of these music videos on, and she says they're not fighting as much and they're happier and they have no problem sleeping in the living room because they feel better and they're sleeping better. And the movement that I kind of initiated, the Mantrista movement, we held together for a long time because of our issues with our children, my children and my children and the kids, and we don't even talk about the kids anymore. Not because we don't care, but because we already know that if we don't change the frequency of our homes and where the kids sleep And even when they're not there, we put a photograph of them and we put the music next to it so that the music transfers to them. We can now go on to other things and deal with other things, such as we ended up dealing with a lot of countries and the roots of violence, whatever. We don't need to go into that. So start getting unhooked from modern life that has us all sick and start hooking on to universal knowledge on planet Earth. So nobody told you that you create reality using the four elements. Okay, I'm telling you. But you don't even need to believe me. Just use the music and then do the before and after. How did you feel a week ago before you were sleeping 10 hours a night or 8 hours or whatever with the one that has the Schumann resonance plus the ding, which corrects the vibration of microwave? Check after not a week, 3 days. See how you feel. Put it on for your kids and see if their behavior changes. You need to be a scientist. We can't trust scientists today anyway, but you can trust yourself. What you can't do is say, if this were true, then it would have. No, it wouldn't. If it was true, that's exactly why they're not allowing it to be out there. And then other countries where they know about the elements looked up to us, the United States. Oh my God, look how great they look. The people are all gorgeous. They all have houses. They all have cars. They must have it right. No, we didn't get it right. We became arrogant, modern. We don't need any of those simple things. No. Yes, we do. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then I'm going to get on to what I have to do after this. So it is, even though. Oh, before we do this, I have to give you the metaphysical gossip. What happened yesterday? What happened yesterday is that I continued to do whatever, and then I bathed. I went downstairs. My dog is always right next to me. And about half an hour after being downstairs, my dog got up and trolleyed on upstairs. And I thought, oh, he went to get a bone or he went to get a toy and he'll be back. Didn't come back. So I came back upstairs and he's sitting on the sofa that's in my bedroom next to the bed where the spirit of my handler has been for, I think, since Friday, had been. And so I looked at my dog and I said, okay, so I'm not to watch TV or do anything else. I need to take care of this. So I went ahead and I sat there and I did the mantra of being afraid to let him go. Because I noticed that when I was cutting the strings that he had attached to me, his mind streams that were inserted in me, there was one in particular I couldn't get cut. St. Michael wasn't cutting. So I went, okay, so there's something else going on here. And then it was when I went, it must be that there's a reason why I am still hanging on to this man. And I went out and even though I'm afraid to let him go. And of course, the reason was I'm afraid of what comes next. Who's going to be my new handler? Because while I'm dealing with him, I don't have to deal with that, right? No, I got this problem. I don't have to think about that. Well, you know what? Now I had to think about it because that was exactly what still had the connection. So he's gone. We don't know who's coming up next. So it's really important that we take care of the people at the top who are taking care of the bad people. So if you don't do it for yourself, do it for me. So here's the mantra. And I'm going to put the music on that's for reducing fire. And it's called Agni. It's part of my sensory therapy collection. Because it's not just sound, which scientists are saying is the most effective healer of them all. It's also image therapy, which I don't think anybody has done. But if you would have to know how reality is created to know how important that is. And I think most people don't work at the causal level the way I was required to work. So here we go. And let's do 7 minutes. There we go. think I'm going to leave it on. Okay. There's going to be some interesting things happening. I think we kind of all know that because we're being told that people are going to be picked up and the military tribunals, whatever. I want you to remember that you are not supposed to be just an observer. All of us create our reality. And for the first time in history, we create our reality individually. Everybody else can go down the tubes and you can remain standing and become a millionaire. Okay? It's not like before. Like before, there could be one millionaire and everybody was underneath, and if something happened, it affected everybody. That's not the case today. So, if interesting things start to happen in this country or in other parts of the world, the Mantrista movement and I have worked probably hundreds of hours in other countries, Latin America, Central America, the United States, Canada, um, working on reducing fire. That was basically our work. It was all reducing fire. So if you see, so here's your plan. Okay, remember, you want to have a wide lens and you want to become multidimensional and you also want to augment your power. That's I'm trying to teach you how to be powerful. So the news, it breaks, and then people are going crazy, committing suicide. That's excess fire, fighting, guns, uh, riots. You don't have to get up off your chair. You sit there and you go, God, I'm going to help out. And you visualize snow falling on them. You visualize that entire riot. Let's say it's a riot. There's a huge igloo and it surrounds them all, cools them down. Or you visualize yourself if you're kind of cranky, you got a hose of cold water, one of those hoses that the firefighters use, or so much water that comes out. It's freezing water, and you are watering down the rage and all those rioters, all those people. Or maybe it's not a riot, maybe it's something else. Maybe the police get out of control. Just visualize them as a group inside an igloo, or visualize everybody concerned in whatever's happening underneath this cascading water. And you will be contributing to balancing the elements at a time in which we already have too much fire. And if they start to put people in jail, there's going to be an explosion because not nobody is going to know to what level they're going to stop in terms of putting people in jail. And they apparently have been a lot of people involved in all this stuff where they deserve to be in jail. But that's not the point. We don't want the country destroyed by emotional reactions, which is why it just doesn't make any sense. How did we reach this point? That we could be humans, modern, looking so great, so polished, so whatever, and we completely forgot about our spirit. That with it, what Putin said yesterday about releasing information that's been suppressed about this civilization, Tartaria, I'm not sure, Tartaria, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It was a spiritual civilization. We are totally non-spiritual, and we're going into the age of Aquarius, which is all about spirituality and love and because love is not physical, it's an emotion. So you're going to start to practice starting today, tomorrow, and you're going to look at people. Who looks like they're limping in your family or your employees or a friend? I'll never forget years ago, we got a phone call at home and I took it, and it was a friend of my husband's. And I said hello. I knew the person. Hi, yeah, fine. Okay, yeah, he's here. And I handed the phone to my husband and I said, he's very depressed. My husband looked at me and said, he didn't say anything. He just took the phone, he talked to him, and then he came back and he said, he's not depressed. He's fine. I even asked him. He says he's fine. 3 days later, he was hospitalized for depression. My ex-husband did not like to have to deal with emotions. He was a earth sign. I get that. But 3 days later, We're not, so I want you not to be like that. He didn't know any better, and I didn't know how to train him any better. I just knew it. I could tell from the voice. Okay, so you are going to pay attention to the people around you. You're going to make sure that your family and your life and your company is not going to be affected by this section of time we're going into, which is going to be very tough. It doesn't matter whether you're in the United States or not. I think here it's going to be, is it going to be particularly tough, or is it just because I'm here? It doesn't really matter. You all have your lives and you have your people. Venezuela, there's going to be a transition. This guy's going to leave. I don't know. He may have left already. It's in his astrology, by the way. Kind of neat. So you pay attention to the things that are important to you. You pay attention to the people. Even like in Venezuela, they have this guy's leaving. It's fine. The people that are coming in, they have to be frightened or angry, or maybe the people that are going to be leaving Venezuela, they leave tens of thousands of people that supported them that can't leave because they're poor, because of whatever. They're stuck in Venezuela. Everybody knows they supported the dictator, and there could be a lot of fights. Ice it down. Ice it down. It's not to your advantage. Do not look at the news and go, oh, you can look at the news and go, oh, and then you need to get to work. You need to become responsible for the reality you are creating. Oh no, I didn't create that. Yeah, you did. If it's your reality, that's the country you live in and that's going to affect you. Yeah, you did create it. You don't understand it now? Not a problem. I'm giving you the simple solution without your understanding how it is that it happens. But I'm telling you, and if you share this with other people, okay? And if you allow people to talk about their emotions, you allow them to talk about their negative emotions. And then you help out, even if you don't, even if you know that the person that's talking to you, let's say this phone call that I got, I didn't know that then, but today I would know to go ahead and my husband's taking the call, and I'd be sitting here and saying, God, this is for him, not my husband, person who called. Even though I'm depressed and want to die, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm depressed and want to die, I love and accept myself. In silence, and just keep doing it. And you just told God that it's for that person that you just talked to, that you recognize was depressed. You do it for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You will make a huge difference. And that's the whole point, to be powerful in the other dimensions. You don't have to use a lot of effort. It's the physical dimension where it's very difficult to be powerful. You can be, and a lot of us are, but it's difficult. In the other dimensions, it's a little bit of knowledge and then focused intention. So I am asking you, please, to contribute to what this that we're sliding into, that is a necessary part of the process for the United States and for the planet, that you contribute in the other dimensions so that we will be left standing when we finish with the whole revelations and trying to figure out where to put the people, the bad guys, and the illegal immigrants that are not necessarily bad guys, but they are illegal. While we're doing all of this, there's a lot of emotion. And that emotion is the thing that can take us down. So you're going to contribute. You watch people checking. No, he doesn't look good. Oh, no, 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 no. He's dragging it. He does not look good. Here's the trick. Anger and depression is exactly the same thing. Anger is when you take this emotion and you throw it out of you onto other people, other things. And depression is when you swallow it, but it's the same energy. It's an emotional reaction to something that you're not happy with. So you're either going to get angry about it or you're going to get depressed. So, well, should I use the depression mantra or the anger one? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what door you come into, you'll end up in the same place, which is somebody who has emotions that are overwhelming them because the elements are out of balance. Throw somebody who is raging into a body of water. It stops. Yeah, well, that was a shock. No, it was the water that put out the fire. And start paying attention, start connecting the dots. It's simple and it's power. Why do you think they have those false flag events? To stimulate negative emotions. And then you don't know what to do with it. And then they weaponize your rage. These people did that they just set up in a false flag event, whatever. These, and then they tell you where to put that rage. You direct it over there. Don't let them do that. They're playing us like a little piano. Anyway, gotta hang up. I got stuff to do. And you have to do mantras. And there you have the link, and it's on my YouTube page, this particular video. And then I have just made it your responsibility. You need to be responsible for your world. And whatever you see in the news, whatever you see around you, that's part of your world. Believe it or not. Don't just be a witness. Okay? Participate. And with this knowledge.